We just arrived at the Copper Trailhead, so we've pulled over. We're here in Cades Cove, taking in a little bit of the scenery before we decide to get on the trail. But it's nice to get out of that line of cars. It's overwhelming for us. So here's Patrick over here. We've got the SUV parked on the side of the road.
It's July 3rd, 2020. So we got started really late today. We'll probably be hitting the trail at probably 11:30, 12 o'clock. So it's going to be a hot one, but we're going to do a loop today. We're going to walk out past Abrams Falls and then come back on, I can't remember the name of the trail. Oh well, we're going to make this a big loop. It'll be about 11-mile loop. We're starting out at Copperhead and Wet Bottom Trail. So there's always no parking when you get here this late at Abrams Falls. So we're going to try to get through that area and hike that extra mile through Wet Bottom Trail and then begin our loop.
So we're just getting started on the trail. You can see where it follows along the little meadow and the road. And then it's just a little wooded path so far. Nice on the feet, no rocks, lots of pine straw. So far it's a gentle walk. And a lot cooler than it was down on the road, so we're feeling good. We're just in at 0.2 miles and we've come to our first junction here.
So we're headed down Wet Bottom Trail, so we have easy parking, not have to deal with the crowds at the Abrams Falls Trailhead. So we take Wet Bottom down for a mile. We're going to take Abrams Falls out to it. Then we'll come and bang a big loop back on Rabbit Creek Trail. So it'll be about an 11-mile day. I think it's going to be a really nice walk though. It's hot when you're in the sun, but in the shade, really cool so far this morning. So hopefully it stays that way.
There's still several old structures here in Cades Cove. One of the old barns. So since this is one of the few hikes here in Cades Cove, this is a very popular one. We actually haven't met a lot of people, but you can tell that it's more of a road than a narrow trail. But today we're not complaining. Everything after hiking up Mount LeConte, gentle and easy, feels good on the feet. So no complaints, and it's beautiful. So it didn't take long to actually get off that little wider path, and now we're more on a wooded trail. We thought we were heading up to Abrams Falls there, but we had to make another detour. That was actually to an old homestead, so that's why it was a little more populated. So we're back more in the wilderness.
We're walking along the Wet Bottom Trail this morning. Goes alongside this creek here. Very pretty. It's not fast and going over rocks like most of them. It does have rocks, but it's more of a slow moving creek through this bottom area. Very scenic. What do you think about this little portion of the hike, Courtney?
Oh, it's very pretty. I'm determined to find a fish in there, but I'm not seeing one. So I don't know if there are none or I'm just not a good spotter.
All right, we're going to continue up the trail. And if Courtney sees one, we're sending her in after it. Here you can kind of see it's wide and a few feet deep all the way across. This is still next to the Wet Bottom Trail. Very pretty.
Patrick's still checking out the creek, and I'm getting a little unhappy with the narrowness of this trail. Snakes like me, and they like to find me, and this looks like snake trail. It just keeps getting a little narrower, a little less traveled. But onward we go.
Courtney has stopped to smell the flowers. The rhododendron are still blooming.
They're so pretty. Look at this one. Still a lot of pink there before it buds out.
Nice. And then a full one after they full bloom looks like that.
Oh, it's almost
The
like
white.
a snowball.
Yeah. Those are all throughout the trail. And like I say, it's July 3rd, so it's still late into the summer. Beautiful.
All right, he's filming this because he thinks I'm going to bust it. And I might. Because it's slick right here. There you go. Not too bad until the end.
Now let's make sure I don't bust it since I was going to laugh at her.
Let's see, yes.
Up we go.
So this really pretty section is the Abrams Falls Trail. As you can see, it's a little more populated. We're actually coming up on people now. So we're coming up on a little bridge. It's one of our favorite little things to find on the trail. Little things excite me. It's always nice to cross water.
Got a bear crossing the creek. Right by the trail.
Yeah, because I wanted to know what he was going to do.
We did get to see a bear, so that was interesting.
You did on this trail?
We did.
Yeah, just now. Yeah. Well, a little while ago.
A little while ago, crossing
He
the
ran out in
creek.
front of people and scared them to death.
Other than this zoo, I've never seen a bear in person.
Last thing to tell.
Hey,
Probably like a 2.5-year-old, so about a medium size.
he's gone. He went across the river. So he scared them.
So we scared them. She was excited to see a bear too. Got this neat little bridge behind us, and we're not far from the falls. This trail has had a lot of people on it, but has been pretty. And not a bad walk at all. Pretty easy so far. But I will press it with a lot of people.
Definitely lots of people on this trail. That part's a little bit exhausting, so next time I would come early in the morning. But other than that, it's a really beautiful trail. It's been very nice.
Just getting to Abrams Falls. Walking the last little bridge to get to it. We're here late in the day. It's probably 1:30 or so. So it does have a lot of people, but still very pretty falls and gorgeous. All right, guys, we just got back on the trail after eating lunch at Abrams Falls. How'd you like the falls, sweetie?
Falls are beautiful.
They are pretty.
The amount of people, not so much.
Note to guys out there, when your wife starts saying she's hungry, we need to stop and eat. Probably should stop and eat. I had to eat lunch by myself because you got a little hangry.
Yes.
So she went over there and ate away from me at the falls.
Because he got this great spot. No water. A little place for his legs to rest. Like me, I'm having to crunch in a ball. And my behind and my backpack are all trying to get wet. So, everyone knows that's not very nice.
So where you went and sat, what did you get for your troubles?
Well, I got a big booty crack in between my view of the waterfall. So I didn't do much better.
It was a beautiful place, just a lot of people. So if you come early, I think it'll really be worth your while to get up early.
Avoid crack.
And we're just past the falls. We can still see them kind of through the trees. And right after you pass the falls, you can see the trail gets a lot narrower and there's nobody on it. Nobody walks past it. So the rest of our trip is going to be a little more secluded, thank goodness. So we'll keep you up to date. Abrams Falls Trail. You keep going, there's a little bitty falls right in the middle of the rhododendron. Very pretty. What do you think about us having to cross this stream?
We got this.
Got it?
We can do it, yep.
So we're gonna have to walk across this. Our trail goes to the other side. So a little unexpected surprise. We were not sure that we were gonna have to ford this creek, but pretty good sized creek. I think we're just gonna do it with our shoes on and call it a day. See you on the other side.
All right, I made it to the other side, still waiting on Patrick. He's at the easier part now. I'll have to say that this is harder than the 3 rivers that we forged in Yellowstone when we did the Bachelor Trail. This is definitely harder, even though the current was a little faster in one of those. I learned a few lessons there about how to use the poles and not get too fast. So that went pretty well here. It's definitely hard. It's definitely a wise choice. We went with wearing our shoes. We took our socks off. We may regret it as we have wet shoes for the rest of the 4 miles, but definitely, since we didn't have the chacos and we didn't know we were going to do this, definitely worth having the shoes on. Hey babe, what do you think?
It was exciting. I enjoyed it.
Okay, this made it trip for me, I think.
I enjoyed it.
I love a good adventure.
Now, I'm not sure how much I'm gonna enjoy the wet shoes, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I just said I think this is harder than any of the crossings we did during Bachelor.
I don't know if it was harder, but it was definitely, you have large flat rocks that you're trying to cross, so when you step on them, you just slide.
Yeah.
So you gotta find little cracks in the rocks to put your feet and your poles, or you're gonna fall. So, Courtney almost did a couple times, but we made it.
All right, onward on this adventure.
Onward. Okay, babe. What do you think of this trail so far? Cutting over to the Red Rabbit Creek Trail. No? A few trees to step over?
Lots of trees. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of poison on me. It's a very under-maintained trail.
So you suggest long pants then, huh?
Long pants in winter because there's a lot of open. It's not my idea of mountain hiking. It's too open to the elements here. I'm hot.
All right, guys, we've reached the junction to Rabbit Creek Trail. So the trailhead back to at Cades Cove at Abrams Falls is about 5 miles. How you feel about that, Courtney?
Well, I thought this trail was overgrown, but let's look down here. This looks like a nightmare. I'm going to be buying some calamine lotion tomorrow. My husband picked some great trails today.
I've enjoyed this hike. I've actually thought it was great. Are you just tired, baby?
No, I'm tired of dodging poison. I don't like the overgrown. I would have liked to have known. I would have worn pants. I don't feel prepared.
All right, so 5 more miles, guys. We'll take you along the way.
Wow, there's a big buck on the road. We're on Red Rabbit Creek Trail, and you can definitely see that we're walking in the creek trail. It's very rocky right through here. You can definitely see how we're having to forge our way a little bit. And you can definitely see where it turns into a creek bed now. The water's being fed in. So it looks like it's only going to get wetter from here. Our feet are already wet after our river foraging, so we're all good.
One more creek to ford at least. What do you think?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yep.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
I will be. I don't know if I'm gonna get out my poles or not. Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Second ford of a creek or river today. How was that one, baby?
That one was easy.
Easy?
Easy peasy. I survived. No slips. I didn't even get my shorts wet. So.
Did cool us off a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of refreshing.
So it was nice.
Another deer on the trail. All right, guys, we're finishing up the Red Rabbit Trail. One last forge of the river. We can see through the trees the cars for people going up to, what's the falls, baby? Abrams Falls. So we're really close to where we need to be. We got one more ford, and we've been taking our socks off, but now we've gotten tired, and we're just going. We don't feel like bending down, taking socks off, putting them back on. So now we're doing socks, shoes, and all. We're gonna see how Courtney does. This river doesn't look too deep, but most of the water is on the other side over there, running in this area. So we'll see when Courtney gets there how that's going to turn out. Our first forge of today, this is our third one, was pretty tough. It was a lot of large flat rocks that when you just step on them, they were just very slick. Second one was a lot smaller creek and had lots of smaller stones. So you have places to wedge your foot in and walk and go. Looks like Courtney's doing pretty well. She's decided she's cutting straight across now. She's not going to where the trail comes out. She's found a quicker, shorter method, and she's going for it. She made it. All right, my turn.
This is a trail that keeps on giving. Yet again, another river crossing. I think he said it's cold. So we'll see how he does. This one's actually a pretty easy trail, or a pretty easy river crossing. We're just exhausted right now, but we know the cars are not too far away. We can hear them in the distance. We can actually see a few people that are on the short trail behind us with children, so we know we're close. We just have to make it back to our car down the road. We made it.
Well, as soon as I step out, I've made it.
Yeah.
It was cold when I stepped in. Now it just feels good.
Yeah.
Think that's going to be the last one for today?
I sure hope so. I'm about at my wit's end with this trail.
Are you? Oh, I thought it's been great. Adventure the entire way.
It has been. It's been beautiful. It's just, it tested me a little bit. And
It has tested us.
It's more mental than physical, I think.
It really is, yeah.
I didn't expect all of this. I think I really thought we were doing about 8 miles and you tricked me, so. Anyway,
I thought we were doing 12, and it's going to be more like probably 14 and a half by the time we're through. So,
to the car.
To the car. Off we go. Headed back toward the car. We're on the wet bottom trail now. So we finished our loop backtracking on the wet bottom trail for about a mile. And in the late afternoon sun, this little stream that we just crossed a few minutes ago is very beautiful.
Not disappointed to see my car or this pretty view. I really do think this is the prettiest view I've seen all day. Few last cars making it through the park.